The Last Reactor. A sci-fi story. Part 1. The alarms began as a low, almost embarrassed chirp, the kind of sound a machine makes when it hopes it's mistaken. Then the pitch climbed. The lights flickered, and every person in sublevel 3 froze as the floor trembled beneath their boots. Lira Vance was already running. Her boots hammered the grated walkway, echoing through the cylindrical shaft that spiraled down toward the reactor chamber. The air smelled of hot metal and ionized dust, a scent she had known since childhood, the scent of the only thing keeping them alive. Reactor integrity at 42%, the overhead announced in its neutral, maddeningly calm voice. Structural fatigue increasing. 42. Yesterday it had been 58. Lira vaulted the last steps and slammed her palm against the access panel. The door hissed open, releasing a wave of heat that washed over her face like the breath of an angry god. Inside, the ancient fusion reactor pulsed erratically, a wounded heart struggling to keep beating. Its containment rings flickered with unstable blue light, each pulse slightly out of rhythm with the last. "Don't you dare die on me," Lira muttered. She crossed the chamber, weaving between coolant pipes and diagnostic pylons, until she reached the central console. Her hands flew across the controls, pulling up thermal maps, stress readings, magnetic field stability. None of it looked good. A voice crackled through her earpiece. "Lira, report." It was Commander Hale, always composed, always expecting miracles. She swallowed. "Containment drift is accelerating. The primary stabilizer ring is degrading faster than projected." "How long?" Lira hesitated. "Hours. Maybe less." A long silence. Then, "I'm sending a team." "No," she snapped. "Too many bodies in here will just raise the temperature." "I can handle it." "You said hours." "I'll make them count." Another pause. "Very well. Keep me updated." The channel clicked off. Lira exhaled shakily and leaned over the console. The reactor hummed beneath her feet, a deep vibration that resonated in her bones. She had grown up with that hum, slept to it, trusted it. The entire bunker community, all 312 souls, depended on it. Without the reactor, the air scrubbers would fail within days. The hydroponics within a week. The temperature would plummet. The lights would die. And the surface was not an option. She pulled up the maintenance schematics, fingers trembling slightly. The stabilizer ring, a relic from before the collapse, was failing at the molecular level. The alloy was fracturing. The magnetic field was slipping. There was only one way to repair it, and she already hated herself for knowing it. 2 hours earlier. The morning had begun like any other. Dim lights, recycled air, the distant thrum of machinery. Lira had been in the workshop, calibrating a set of pressure valves, when Elder Marek shuffled in. He leaned heavily on his cane, his breath shallow. The elderly always struggled the most. The life support systems kept them alive, but barely. "Child," he rasped. "I need a word." Lira set down her tools. "Of course." Marek's eyes, pale, almost milky, studied her with unsettling clarity. "You've been spending more time near the reactor." She stiffened. "It's my job." "It's more than that," he said softly. "You feel it, don't you? The change." Lira hesitated. "It's unstable. But we're managing." Marek shook his head. "No, you're delaying the inevitable." She didn't respond. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "There are whispers among the council. They fear the reactor is reaching its final days." Lira's stomach tightened. "If they know something, they should tell me." "They fear panic," Marek said. "And they fear the choice that may come." "What choice?" He didn't answer. Instead, he placed a trembling hand on her shoulder. "You are young, Lira Vance. Strong. The future belongs to you. Remember that." Then he left, leaving her with a knot of dread she couldn't untangle. Back to the present. The reactor's pulse stuttered again, and a shower of sparks rained from the upper conduits. Lira flinched. "Damn it!" She grabbed a thermal suit from the emergency locker and shrugged it on. sealing the collar. The heat in the chamber was rising, not dangerously yet, but enough to make sweat bead on her forehead. She climbed the ladder to the upper platform, where the stabilizer ring loomed like a massive, glowing halo. Up close, she could see the fractures, hairline cracks spiderwebbing across the alloy surface, glowing faintly with escaping plasma. She pressed her gloved hand against the metal. It vibrated violently. "Easy," she whispered. "I'm here." Her visor display lit up with readings. The cracks were widening. The magnetic field was losing coherence. She needed to reinforce the ring, replace sections, rebuild the lattice. But the reactor was older than she was. Older than the bunker. Older than the collapse itself. Spare parts didn't exist. Except, her throat tightened, except in the life support wing. The systems that kept the elderly alive, the cryobeds, the circulatory pumps, the neural pacifiers, all used the same alloy, the same pre-collapse tech, the same irreplaceable components. She had known this for weeks, known it and buried it, because repairing the reactor meant dismantling the life support systems. And dismantling the life support systems meant killing the elderly. Not immediately, but inevitably. She climbed down, her breath ragged. She needed data, proof, something to justify the impossible. She returned to the console and initiated a full diagnostic sweep. The reactor's holographic model rotated before her, glowing with angry red fault lines. Her calculations confirmed it. Without replacement components, the stabilizer ring would fail within hours. With them, she could extend the reactor's life by years. The bunker would survive. But Marek, Elder Sarah, Old Tom, the 37 elders who relied on the life support systems, they would not. Her hands shook. The overhead lights flickered again. Reactor integrity at 39%. Lira slammed her fist against the console. "Shut up!" The reactor groaned, as if in response. The commander arrives. The chamber door hissed open, and Commander Hale strode in, flanked by 2 guards. His uniform was immaculate despite the heat, his expression carved from stone. "Report," he said. Lira swallowed hard. "It's worse than we thought." He approached the console, scanning the data. His jaw tightened. "How long?" "Hours," she repeated. "Maybe less." "And the solution?" Lira hesitated. Hale turned to her. "Engineer, speak." She forced the words out. "I can repair the stabilizer ring, but I need components we don't have. Where can we get them?" She looked away. "The life support wing." Silence. The guards exchanged uneasy glances. Hale's voice was low. "You're certain?" "Yes. If we do nothing, the reactor fails. Everyone dies. And if we cannibalize the life support systems?" Lira's voice cracked. "The elders will die." Hale exhaled slowly. "How many?" 37. He closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, they were colder. "Show me." Lira pulled up the schematics, highlighting the compatible components. Hale studied them, his face unreadable. Finally, he spoke. "The council will not like this." "They don't have to like it," Lira said. "They just have to choose." Hale nodded. "Prepare a full report. I'll convene the council immediately." He turned to leave. "Commander," Lira said. He paused. "If they refuse, what then?" Hale didn't answer. He didn't need to. The council convenes. The council chamber was a circular room lined with old-world banners. Their colors faded. 12 members sat around the central table, their faces drawn and tense. Lira stood before them, hands clasped behind her back, trying not to tremble. Commander Hale stood beside her. "Engineer Vance," Counselor Wren said, "you may begin." Lira activated the projector. The reactor's hologram flickered to life, its fractures glowing like open wounds. "The stabilizer ring is failing," she said. "Without intervention, the reactor will collapse within hours." Murmurs rippled through the room. "And your proposed solution?" Wren asked. Lira swallowed. "We need to replace the damaged sections with compatible components." The only source is the life support systems in the Elder Wing. Counselor Sarah, herself elderly, though not reliant on the machines, leaned forward. You are asking us to sacrifice our elders. I'm asking you to save the bunker, Lira said quietly. Counselor Brand slammed his fist on the table. This is murder. It's survival, Hale said. It's a choice, Lira added. One none of us want. Counselor Wren steepled his fingers. Engineer Vance, if we authorize this, how long will the reactor last? Years, she said. Maybe decades. And if we refuse? Lira met his gaze. We all die today. Silence fell like a shroud. Finally, Wren spoke. We will deliberate. Lira and Hale were dismissed. The waiting. Lira paced the corridor outside the chamber, her heart pounding. Hale stood nearby, arms crossed, watching her. You did well, he said. I condemned 37 people. You offered a choice. She stopped pacing. What would you choose? Hale didn't hesitate. The many over the few. Lira looked away. I thought you'd say that. Before he could respond, the chamber doors opened. Counselor Wren stepped out, his expression grave. Engineer Vance. Commander Hale. The council has reached a decision. Lira's breath caught. Wren continued. We cannot condemn the elders. Their lives are sacred, their wisdom irreplaceable. Lira felt the floor tilt beneath her. Wren's voice softened. We will face the end together. No, Lira whispered. No, you can't. It is decided. Hale stiffened. Counselor, with respect. It is decided, Wren repeated. He turned and re-entered the chamber. The doors closed. Lira stared at them, numb. Hale placed a hand on her shoulder. I'm sorry. She shook him off. No, this isn't over. Lira, I can still fix it. Without authorization. Authorization won't matter when everyone is dead. She turned and ran. Back to the reactor. The chamber was hotter now. Louder. Angrier. Lira tore off her gloves and grabbed her toolkit. She climbed the ladder again, heart racing. She knew what she had to do. She also knew what it meant. She opened a private channel on her earpiece. Medical wing, she said. This is Engineer Vance. I need access to the life support systems. Emergency override. A voice answered. Nurse Ellen. Lira? What's going on? Override authorization. Vance 7 Delta. Lira, wait. Do it. A long pause. Then, override accepted. Lira closed her eyes. I'm sorry, she whispered. Then she began the countdown to shut down the life support systems. 10 seconds. 9. 8. Her hands shook violently. 7. 6. 5. A voice echoed in her mind. Elder Marek's voice. The future belongs to you. 4. 3. 2. She hesitated. 1. She pressed the final command. Part 2. The moment Lira executed the shutdown, the reactor chamber seemed to inhale. The lights dimmed. The hum deepened. The air itself felt heavier, as if the bunker were holding its breath. Then the screaming began. Not from the reactor, from her earpiece. Lira, what have you done? Nurse Ellen's voice cracked with panic. The elder's vitals are crashing. Lira tore the earpiece out. She couldn't listen. Not now. Not if she wanted to stay standing. She forced herself up the ladder again, hands trembling so violently she nearly slipped. The stabilizer ring glowed brighter now, its fractures pulsing like open wounds. She activated her plasma cutter and began slicing away the damaged sections. The metal shrieked. Her heart shrieked louder. 37 lives. She tried not to think about it, tried to focus on the work. But every cut felt like a confession. Every spark felt like a sin. The reactor fights back. As she removed the first segment, the reactor lurched violently. A shockwave rippled through the chamber, nearly knocking her off the platform. Containment drift increasing. The overhead announced. Magnetic field unstable. No. Lira clung to the railing as the chamber shook again. The reactor was destabilizing faster than she'd predicted. Removing the damaged alloy had weakened the ring further. She had minutes, maybe less. She scrambled down the ladder, grabbed the replacement components she'd hauled in earlier, the ones she'd stolen from the life support wing, and climbed back up. Her visor display flashed warnings. Temperature rising. Field coherence dropping. She slammed the first replacement segment into place. The magnetic field surged, then steadied slightly. "One down," she whispered. "Come on, come on." She worked faster, sweat pouring down her face, her hands blistering inside the gloves. Each segment she installed bought them seconds, maybe minutes, but the reactor was dying. She could feel it, and so were the elders. The confrontation. The chamber door slammed open. Commander Hale stormed in, followed by 2 guards. His face was pale with fury. "Lira!" She didn't look down. "I don't have time for this." "What did you do?" "What I had to." "You shut down the life support systems." "Yes." "You killed them." She froze. Then, quietly, "Not yet." Hale stared up at her, horror and rage warring in his eyes. "Reverse it. Now. If I reverse it, the reactor fails. Then we evacuate." "To where?" she snapped. "The surface? You know what's up there." Hale didn't answer. Lira installed another segment. The reactor steadied again. "You're condemning 37 people," Hale said. "You don't get to make that choice." "No," she said softly. "But someone had to." Hale climbed the ladder toward her. She stepped back, plasma cutter raised. "Don't. Lira, I'm finishing this." Hale hesitated. "If you do this, you'll never be forgiven." "I don't need forgiveness." "What do you need?" She swallowed hard. "For the rest of us to live." Hale stared at her for a long moment. Then he climbed back down. But he didn't leave. He watched. The elders fade. Her earpiece, lying on the floor below, crackled faintly. Even without wearing it, she could hear the voices. "Vitals dropping. Marek is unresponsive. We're losing them." Lira squeezed her eyes shut. Her hands shook so badly she nearly dropped the next segment. She forced herself to keep going. Focus. 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 She installed the final piece. The stabilizer ring flared with blinding blue light. The reactor roared, then settled into a steady, powerful hum, stronger than she'd heard in years. She slumped against the railing, gasping. It was done. The reactor was saved. The bunker would live. She climbed down slowly, legs trembling. Hale stood waiting, his expression unreadable. "Is it stable?" he asked. "Yes." "For how long?" "Years." He nodded once. "Then let's go." Lira retrieved her earpiece with shaking fingers and put it back in. The channel was chaos. "Losing them. No pulse. We need help." Lira closed her eyes. Then she ran. The aftermath. The medical wing was a storm of motion. Nurses rushing between beds, alarms blaring, monitors flashing red. Lira pushed through the crowd. The elders lay in their cryobeds, pale and still. Some gasped weakly. Some didn't move at all. Nurse Ellen spotted her and froze. "You," she whispered. "You did this." Lira couldn't speak. Ellen shoved her. "They trusted you." Lira stumbled back. I had to." "You had a choice." Ellen screamed. "You chose wrong." Lira's vision blurred. "Where's Marek?" Ellen's face crumpled. "Gone." Lira felt something inside her break. She moved to Marek's bed anyway. His eyes were closed, his chest still. She touched his hand. It was cold. A sob tore from her throat. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm so sorry. But the dead don't hear apologies." The council's judgment. Hours later, the council chamber was silent. Lira stood alone in the center, her hands bound behind her. Hale stood to the side, arms crossed, expression grim. Counselor Wren addressed her. "Engineer Vance, you acted without authorization. You violated protocol. You shut down life support systems, resulting in the deaths of 37 elders. Lira didn't look up. Ren continued. However, your actions saved the reactor, saved the bunker, saved over 200 lives. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Counselor Sarah spoke next. We cannot ignore the cost, but we also cannot ignore the outcome. Ren nodded. We are divided. Some call you a murderer. Others call you a savior. Lira finally raised her head. I'm neither. Then what are you? Sarah asked. Lira swallowed. Someone who made a choice no one else would. Silence. Ren exhaled. We cannot execute you. The people would revolt. And we cannot absolve you. The families would riot. So what happens to me? Lira asked. You are exiled, Ren said. To the surface. Gasps filled the room. Lira felt the world tilt. You can't. The reactor will sustain us, Ren said. But we cannot sustain you. Hale stepped forward. Counselor, this is madness. It is decided, Ren said. Hale clenched his fists. She saved us. And she killed them, Ren replied. Both are true. Lira closed her eyes. Exile. The surface. Death. Maybe that was fair. Maybe that was justice. The walk to the airlock. Hale escorted her through the dim corridors. No guards. No crowd. Just the two of them. You shouldn't have done it alone, Hale said quietly. No one else would. You could have told me. You would have stopped me. He didn't deny it. They reached the airlock. The heavy door loomed like a tombstone. Hale turned to her. I can still fight this. No, Lira said softly. Let it stand. You don't deserve this. Maybe I do. Hale's jaw tightened. What you did. It wasn't evil. It wasn't good either. It was necessary. Lira looked at him. Then why does it feel like dying? Hale didn't answer. He placed a hand on her shoulder, the first time he'd ever touched her gently. Thank you, he said. For what? For giving us a future. Lira's throat tightened. Take care of them. I will. He stepped back. The airlock door opened. Cold air rushed in. Thin, sharp, alien. Lira stepped inside. The door closed behind her. The surface. The outer hatch opened with a groan. Blinding light flooded in. Lira shielded her eyes and stepped out onto the cracked earth. The sky was a pale, washed-out blue. Not the toxic haze she'd imagined. The air was thin but breathable. The wind carried the scent of dust and distant rain. She took a shaky breath. She wasn't dead. Not yet. She looked back at the bunker entrance. A steel door set into the side of a ruined hill. It sealed shut. Lira turned away. The world stretched before her. Barren, broken, but not empty. In the distance, she saw shapes. Structures. Maybe ruins. Maybe something else. She started walking. Each step felt like a question. Each breath felt like a beginning. Epilogue 1 year later. The bunker thrived. The reactor hummed steadily, its stabilizer ring-strong and stable. Crops flourished. Children laughed. The community grew. But they never forgot the cost. A memorial stood in the central hall. 37 names etched into steel. At its base lay a plaque. Their sacrifice gave us life. Some believed Lira was a monster. Some believed she was a martyr. Most believed she was gone. But she wasn't. Far beyond the hills, in the ruins of an old research facility, Lira knelt beside a dormant machine, a fusion reactor far larger than the bunkers. Its casing was cracked. Its conduits shattered. But its core still glowed faintly. Lira smiled, the first real smile in months. Hello, old friend, she whispered. Let's see what you can do. She set down her tools and began again. This is the end of the sci-fi story, The Last Reactor. Leave a like if you enjoyed the story, and subscribe for more sci-fi stories. Thanks for listening.